All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into something you literally see every single day, but probably never really think about. How do plants take out the trash? And believe me, their methods are way more clever than you'd think.
So let's just jump right in with a question. Do plants sweat? I mean, it sounds simple, right? But the answer? Well, it opens up this whole fascinating world of how plants actually work.
Okay, so just like us, plants have waste they need to get rid of, but they can't just walk it to the curb. So they've had to evolve these absolutely brilliant ways to handle it. Let's get into their super clever disposal systems.
All right, so let's circle back to that sweating question. How do plants deal with their gaseous waste? You might be surprised. There's actually a pretty good comparison to how our own bodies work.
So think about it. When we get hot, we sweat through tiny pores in our skin, right? Well, plants do something kind of similar. They have these little openings, mostly under their leaves, called stomata, and through those they release water vapor and oxygen. Now, it's not exactly the same as sweating, but the principle is there, getting rid of stuff through tiny holes. And yeah, that's the official name for these little plant pores, stomata. You can picture them as thousands of tiny mouths all over the bottom of a leaf. They breathe in the carbon dioxide they need, and they breathe out what they don't need, things like extra water, and, this is the big one for us, oxygen.
Okay, so that covers how plants deal with gases. But what about solid waste? What happens to that? Well, for their solid trash, plants have a solution that's way more dramatic and honestly, kind of beautiful.
You know when you see all those leaves falling in the autumn? You're not just watching the seasons change. You're actually witnessing a plant's massive annual deep clean. It's this incredible coordinated effort to dump a whole year's worth of junk all at once. And the process is just so efficient. First, the plant starts pumping all its unwanted waste into the leaves it's about to get rid of. And get this, that buildup of waste is one of the main reasons we get those amazing autumn colors. Then, once a leaf is full of trash, the plant basically seals it off from the branch and, poof, lets it drop. Trash taken out.
And yeah, there's a scientific name for this whole process. It's called abscission. It's a really fundamental part of a plant's life. It's not just a passive thing, it's a deliberate choice by the plant to shed parts that have served their purpose, especially as little storage bins for waste.
Here's a great example you've probably seen. You know how old oak leaves turn that really deep brown color and sometimes hang on all winter? A huge reason for that color is just the sheer amount of waste that the tree has packed inside them.
But drop-in leaves isn't the only trick they have. Nope. Besides that big annual cleanup, plants have developed some gooier ways of getting rid of waste, and I bet you've come across them before. I'm talking about those sticky things you see, right? Like resins, gums, and latex. That stuff that oozes out of the bark of a tree. And it's important to know, this isn't just regular sap. These are specific waste products that the plant is actively pushing out.
And just a quick word of caution here. Because these are waste products, some of them also double as a defense mechanism for the plant, which means, yeah, they can be poisonous. So it's definitely a look, don't touch kind of situation.
So, okay, we've got gassy waste, falling leaves full of junk, and sticky, sometimes poisonous goo. It all kind of sounds like stuff you'd want to stay away from. But, and this is where it gets really cool, what's trash for a plant is very often treasure for humans.
It turns out that for centuries, we've been taking what plants throw away and turning it into incredibly valuable stuff. I mean, we've built whole industries based on plant garbage.
Just think about latex, that sticky waste product from a rubber tree. It's the foundation for everything from the tires on your car to the gloves a doctor uses. And it all comes from a substance the plant was just trying to get rid of. How wild is that?
Or how about this one? This is amazing. A willow tree pushes out a chemical waste product, a little something called salicylic acid. You probably know it better as the main ingredient in aspirin. That's right, one of the world's most common painkillers comes straight from a tree's garbage.
So let's pull all of this together and see why it actually matters. Because the truth is, the impact of all this is, well, it's everywhere in our daily lives.
The big thing to take away here is that this isn't just some random biology trivia. These processes that plants use to take out the trash have had a huge impact on our world. We've literally built our world on top of plant trash.
And of course, we have to talk about the most important plant waste product of them all. I'm talking about oxygen. It's just a byproduct of photosynthesis that plants breathe out through their stomata. To the plant, it's just exhaust fumes. To us, it's everything. It's the very air we breathe. So, we'll leave you with a final thought to chew on. If a plant's waste is this essential to our entire world, what does that say about the whole idea of waste itself? In nature, one organism's trash really is another's treasure. Makes you wonder what else we're overlooking, right? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.